Thank you, Ms. Takuda, and to Ms. Higgins, who has been a real leader and champion of quality of life of our service members.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to just everyone who came today to testify before our panel. It's been a great privilege to sit on the Quality of Life Task Force with Congressman Bacon and Ms. Houlihan, and just to hear time after time about what our servicemen and women need in their families. Pay and compensation. Housing is always number two, though. Childcare, healthcare. So there's a lot of room for improvement. I'm just thankful to have your ear and that to hear your passion and to know that you prioritize it just like we do. I share having children who serve, so just thinking of them at every turn and everything that we do. And I wanted to just take a minute to advocate for OCONUS as well. And I know that Ms. Takuda just touched on that, but just recently visiting Japan and Okinawa and Kadena, they looked right at us and said, in 10 years, we can't do the mission that we need to do if we don't put some time and money into our infrastructure. I was just at Marine Corps Air Station Futenma. I know that base is what's going on. Is it staying? Is it moving? Is it, but the Marines there are still there. They're still 67 miles away from China. We have to continue to focus on those OCONUS housing and infrastructure issues. They don't have people like us that represent that come here and can speak about what those bases need. So please be their voices for them. I represent Virginia Beach, so I have Naval Air Station Oceana, the East Coast Master Jet Base, and it is pathetic. I get frustrated and angry every time. I always tell the base CO I'm their worst secret shopper. As a Navy veteran, Navy wife, I drive around there, I go to the commissary, I look at the housing every time I go, and it makes me madder every time I go. So there's a lot of room for improvement, and I know that you share those concerns. I wanted to take a minute and turn a little bit and talk about something positive, because I know that Secretary Berger and I have worked together many times. She has come to my district. Thank you so much for your advocacy. And one of the things that I talked about the first time I think we had one of these readiness committees was the fact that we had our junior enlisted moving into unaccompanied housing and paying for Wi-Fi. And that connectivity piece is so important. As a nurse practitioner, mental health care provider, I've been focused on that as well. And that piece alone, making sure that our junior servicemen and women have access to Wi-Fi, and the fact that we were charging them and moving them into crappy barracks and then charging them for Wi-Fi was one of the most frustrating things that I think I learned when I started doing this job. So I wanted to applaud you and just say kudos. Thank you so much for providing that pilot program for the Navy about giving our servicemen and women access to free Wi-Fi. But could you please speak about how you did that? Because I know you've come up with some creative ways for funding and really thinking outside the box, which I think is what we need to do right now.
Certainly, yes. Thank you for the attention to our infrastructure and to some of the most pressing needs of our sailors and our Marines. And I want to share the credit with Fleet Forces and the regional command and local commands there who all took it on board too and made it happen. It is a use of the MWR funding. So very, very fitting in terms of what we mean when we talk about MWR and ensuring that we are providing our sailors with what they need. And so we have about 4,000 sailors right now who will have access to the Wi-Fi. And we recognize that this is something that will help them to access education, to stay connected with family. As you noted, there's everything from mental health to mission success that will come as a result of this. And so we expect to continue to demonstrate the value here. MWR funds go in a bunch of different directions, of course. And as is one of our themes for today, there are a lot of demands on some pots of money. And so as we recognize that this is a foundational requirement for our sailors and Marines, and I would venture to other service members as well, it is something that we'd like to be able to continue to provide in a very reliable way.
Thank you, and I would love to see that pilot program expanded to the Navy and to other DoD. And along those same lines of thinking outside the box, I know we've talked a lot about privatized housing, especially in the Quality of Life Task Force. I am a big fan. I think that all the public-private partnership explorations, but the privatized piece, I would love to see those programs expanded as well. Mr. Owens, can you briefly talk about your plans for expansion? Because that's certainly a direction that I think we need to pursue.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity. And just on the previous point about Wi-Fi, last week we got to agreement that the rest of the military departments have the authority to do exactly what the Navy did. So thanks to the Navy for leading out on the Wi-Fi piece. We're going to be getting after it with the rest of the services. On the privatization piece, the need is huge. All of the tools in the toolbox need to be leveraged fully in order for us to get after it. Privatization and ensuring that we learn all the lessons that we can about the MHPI process over the last 25 years are certainly a piece of that. But yes, we are absolutely looking at that as a critical aspect of how we're going to get after these challenges.
Thank you. Very important. My time has expired. I yield back.